Hello, welcome to episode 44 of Just Text Clothing Explained. On today's episode, we discuss the topic of being human and flawed. This T has a lot in common with I have accepted my contradictions. Much of what I stated in that episode, particularly example number 3, applies here. Being human means to be inherently flawed. Let's use some examples. At the current time of my writing this episode, the biggest news story in the United States is the full withdrawal of troops and the official conclusion of the war in Afghanistan. Now, many people will claim that they're for human rights. That's great. It really is. Now, I'm probably going to release this episode in late September to early October 2021. I can for sure guarantee that Afghanistan will not be a major news story by then. How much will you have thought about all the human rights violations that are happening in that country since the news outlets stopped covering it? Probably the same amount as you thought about the humanity issue at the southern U.S. border, or the people facing humanitarian issues in their home country trying to get into Europe, or even more thought-provoking, the many issues leading to the reasons why they desperately need to get across the border in the first place. And let's not even get into the issues Black people in America and other countries face when trying to bring up some of the issues they face. You care about the issues they bring up, and you're for them. Until. Another example, former Governor Cuomo. You know the story on why he resigned, but the other person who had to resign was Roberta Kaplan. I mean, advocating for women's rights, but aiding Cuomo. That's the definition of being human and flawed. The same can be said for men who support women, but advocate for women whose mission is to try to keep women in their place and to maintain the status quo system of patriarchy. That's human and flawed. I'm a college football fan. Probably the two biggest scandals of the last 12 to 13 years in the sport are Penn State and Baylor. Rooting for those teams, especially immediately in the aftermath of the scandals, human and flawed. Look, I sell shirts. I ain't a moral arbiter. I have a jaded view on the world anyway. That will be explored in future episodes. There are many more human and flawed examples, but I've had enough of this episode. The point is, we're all human and flawed. Here comes the audio and video that has come after every episode since number 3. Take it away. Recorded this a couple months ago at the time of this release, Manny. If you're at this point of the episode, then it's a pretty good guess that you're a fan of Just Text Clothing and Just Text Clothing Explained. So why not show some support by purchasing a Just Text Clothing and Just Text Clothing Explained tee. Whether you decide you want a classic or premium tee, or both, get 20% off by entering the code JTCExplain20 at checkout. But wait, there's more. Just Text Clothing has partnered with Afterpay, which allows you to buy now and split your payment into 4 manageable installments, interest-free. So what are you waiting for? A 20% discount, as well as being able to split your payment into 4 installments? After watching this episode, go to justtextclothing.com and get you a Just Text Clothing and Just Text Clothing Explained tee. Now let's move on to the tee colors. I'm just going to show you all the color options available. Please remember, not every color will be available for every size, and vice versa. Also, sizing and color options are subject to change. Let's take a minute to talk about the Just Text Clothing shipping policy. It is a bit complicated at first glance, but to simplify it, classic tees at this time are only available to ship to North America, Canada, Mexico, the United States, and U.S. territories. And depending on which shipping option you choose, free shipping will occur at certain price points. Check the video playing while this message is being played to see what shipping option you want, and what price point does free shipping kick in at. Or if you want, you can go to the Classic Tees shipping rates page listed in the description for a more in-depth look. Now, as for the premium tees, that is much more straightforward. And wait for it, self-explanatory. Premium tees are shipped worldwide. You can see in the video, almost every country is listed. And unlike with the classic tees, free shipping begins when you spend $100. Like, subscribe, and click the bell for notifications. Just Text Clothing Explained will be releasing new episodes daily, and eventually multiple episodes daily. To stay up to date with everything Just Text Clothing, follow Just Text Clothing on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. Also, while I have your attention, I would greatly appreciate it if you would follow the man behind Just Text Clothing, Manny Williams, on Instagram and Twitter at AO is Manny.